Yeah, coffee.
Cool. We are live on YouTube. Testing, testing, testing. We are good with audio.
It's 5 o'clock.
I got it. Come on, Facebook. What the hell is going on here? Oh, you gotta be kidding me, right? All right. What's up, people on Instagram?
What's up, y'all?
Those who are tuning in, waving.
What's up, y'all? Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate y'all. I really can't see who that is right there. I think that's on my Instagram.
Vintage Jewels Goods.
Yes. What's up, Vintage?
Okay.
Shout out to Vintage Jewels. Check out their brand, man. She's real dope.
Okay. I'm not sure why Facebook has not gone live with me and taking too long to do this. Come on, come on, come on. Why are we not here? We are live. I'm gonna have to do this again. We are. All right, go live. So people can tune in while I'm doing that. Give the theme one more chance. Perfect.
Welcome to the Mancave Show. Welcome to the Mancave Show. Welcome to the Mancave Show. It's the Mancave Show. The Mancave Show. It's the Mancave Show. The Mancave Show. Welcome to the cave where no topic is safe. Talking race.
Okay, YouTube is thank you guys for tuning in. Instagram, thank you guys for tuning in. Facebook. We are good on Facebook. Excellent. You guys can hear me well. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to MCS The Mancave Show. We have a special guest in the house, my man Tokes. How's it going?
Thank you, DC,
Just
for having me.
just, you know.
Thanks, guys. How y'all doing? My name's Tokes. I have a channel called Toke with Tokes. It's my good friend DC. Thanks for having me on here. Well, there's a lot to talk about, but I'm gonna let him take over.
What's up, people? How you guys tuning in? Thanks for tuning in to the Man Cave Show. Thanks for tuning in on Tokes for Tokes. Thanks for tuning in on YouTube Live. I want to start off, first of all, by saying thank you guys for taking the time out in this tumultuous time of what's going on. A lot of people have been asking if we're going to do the show. My crew is actually on vacay. I was like, there's no reason for them to come all the way out this way to deal with this pandemic. And, you know, we're all being safe in the whole 9 yards, but it's best to be safer if you try to avoid. So this is why I said I'm going to do the show. The actual recording that you guys are seeing on YouTube will be the actual video of this particular recording. We had a special guest that was going to come through, Sherman Brathwaite. Hopefully he's tuning in. But nonetheless, the original people were supposed to be Tokes and Sherman, but we still got Tokes here. As he said before, he jumped the gun. We are going to be, Virgo City Productions will be producing his spin-off show, which is going to be called Tokes with Tokes. But the actual show that's going to lead for that show with Toke with Tokes is going to be the Marijuana Chronicles. Will be the first show here on the Man Cave Show history of smoking on the show. And it's not just about smoking, it's going to be regarding what?
Well, it's going to be regarding the different type of ways to ingest marijuana, more like different experiments, like different ways like edibles or dabs, which I haven't tried yet, shards or resins. So these different type of ways that people have formulated ways for you to ingest marijuana is what we're going to try to do on Marijuana Chronicles and the Toke with Toke Show.
Okay, and that's where, we're going to be comparing, I said CBD and all that stuff, comparing all that stuff. And I'll admit, I socially smoke. So honestly, it's going to be one of those moments where it's going to be funny moments of me trying to roll while I'm doing it. I want to thank you guys I'm catching who's doing it on Instagram. Thank you guys for tuning in for that. And whoever's tuning in on Facebook, I haven't seen you guys yet, so appreciate it. So basically, let's go over, if you guys know the premise of the show, we love my movies, love my TV shows, love what's going on in the world and pop culture. So I want to go over catch into it. Sydney, I'm going to kill you. I knew you was going to do it, and I really swore I blocked your call. I blocked you on everything else. You're doing it on purpose. So that was called by the worst actor in the world, Sydney Afriye, an African actor who cannot play an African.
Shout out to Sydney for being so consistent. Like
Constantly
every Saturday,
consistent.
he's so
Definitely does it.
consistent. Shout out to Sydney.
Oh, dude, Marcus Pierre. Everyone's just tuning in.
What's up, Ed?
The King. He's putting out the pass. Thanks, guys. I have a delay on my phone, so whoever's doing it on live, I want to say I'm way back in the whole 9 yards. I appreciate you guys tuning in. And whoever's tuning in on Facebook, I'm gonna go to that. I'm gonna kill Sydney. I really am. This guy is like a nuisance. So Altered Carbon is a show that we've been actually binging on, and I'm still loving every second of it. Who was just here giving me shout out to Tokes, the King GP2N, and he said Tokes. O'Neill from Africa. What's up, O'Neill?
Shout out to y'all. Appreciate y'all.
Yeah. So apparently you have fans on my page that know who Tokes is.
Yeah. Thanks guys for tuning in. Appreciate y'all.
Hope you guys get a chance to tune in on his show when he goes live on that one. Altered Carbon. I was hesitant to watch it when I was asked before in regards to checking it out, and I was like, I didn't really care for the actor. But now that season 2 pops up, and then Anthony Mackie is in it. You can raise the mic if you need it. Okay, that's the mic again. Because then you have that soft, very white voice. You know, but mind you, in real life, he speaks a little louder than that.
He's lying.
Oh,
definitely lying.
Such a lie. Not at all.
Well, go ahead.
Not at all.
Carbon.
So Altered Carbon, I was hesitant about watching the first season, and then now that I saw season 2, and I was like, Anthony Mackie,
yeah,
what the fuck? So I had to go back and watch season 1, and ironically, I like season 1.
It's a real good story. I mean, I like the way they transition from like, you know, with the, well, I don't want to give away many different things, but from one sleeve to Anthony Mackie being the second sleeve in season 2, I like the way they transition. But not to spoil anything, but watch it, man. Like really watch the show because it gives you perspective on what the future could really look like, especially when it comes to people and augmenting their bodies and having opportunities to live for basically forever. The more money you have, the longer you can live, basically. Yeah. That's the premise of the show.
But one thing that gets me is that I would not want to live in that time because you're living for a long time, but then you don't know where your memory is going. You know, and then on top of that, there's this thing that's called a sleeve. So basically what we're in is called a sleeve. So it's another human body. You could wake up as a woman, a man, black, white, a child, Asian, whatever. But your memory is still you.
Right.
Yeah, and it's a damn good show. So I'm on season 2, so I'm looking forward to continuing on that one.
And the way the show turns out is like the original sleeve was an Asian guy, but then season 1 starts off with a white guy. So it kind of throws you off in the beginning few episodes, but then after a while you start to catch on when he looks back and flash back to his past and you realize the new sleeve that he's in and what he's capable of doing and why he's here. And then after that, he transitions to the next sleeve in season 2, which is Anthony Mackie, which is I'm pretty sure that's the reason why everyone's probably watching, Altered Carbon right now. It's because Anthony Mackie's on a rampage right now on Netflix. He's like all over.
Yeah, he's killing it. He's actually like doing such a great job with it, and I'm loving every second of it. Yeah. Shout out to the Marketable. Thanks for tuning in. On that, you guys that are tuning in over on Instagram, we appreciate that, and especially YouTube Live. Right. Appreciate that. So we have Altered Carbon, and I'm gonna skip the next movie because that will go into our main topic. The documentary, I'm not sure. I asked you to see it, and it's called "They're Going to See Us." It's a documentary about Black cinema from way back, black and whites, to now. From the first Academy Award winner Hattie McDaniels to Sidney Poitier, Denzel Washington, on and on and on, and explaining the growth of the evolution of how our people have impacted Hollywood, and the struggle is still going on. You haven't watched the documentary at all.
To be honest, guys, I haven't watched the documentary yet, but with the episode that I saw with you, it was more than enough to give me the premise of what the documentary is about. And from what I saw, it just showed how people, paved the way for a lot of new artists or talent that came out today.
Right.
And not even just that, the fact that they had to break barriers and the obstacles they had to go through, especially being people of color, and the fact that they weren't even given a chance. But even not even given a chance, the fact that they were even noted and recognized by people of the opposite skin color and being awarded for their talent. It's just like a tremendous award in itself. So you guys should really watch it. I mean, myself, I should watch it as well.
Yeah, I've enjoyed it. I see it's only 3 episodes. Um, it's really impacting, and it gave an explanation because I'm anti-hood movies. I mean, I love certain of them. Like, come on, I grew up in a certain era, so it's like we're watching, Boys in the Hood, Menace to Society, Paid in Full. Even though they're historical storytelling,
Right.
there are other stories that did come out that reflected the Black community, like great comedies such as Two Can Play That Game, The Brothers, The Wood. All right, I'll give Booty Call some of that. Friday, even though it's a hood movie, but it's still a hood comedy movie, and it didn't give the dark side like Boys in the Hood. It gave a lighter version of it. You lived in the hood, but they gave a comical version that everything is not so serious.
It's not, to me, it didn't seem gangster at all. It came off very
Friday?
Yeah, Friday came off pretty.
I mean, with Debo and just their persona, I guess.
I mean, when you watch Boys in the Hood and you see the movie, you see someone die, right?
Yeah, okay.
Okay, and Friday, do you expect someone to die in any other Fridays?
No,
okay, so to me, it's not a hood movie.
Gotcha. Major shout out, Tracy. Thanks for tuning in. You guys ever want any blinked out glam glasses or accoutrements? My girl Tracy, Simply Rich. I gotta definitely put a tag on that one for you. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, so that documentary gave a great impact for us. You guys really need to watch. They want to see us on Netflix. What's another thing that I have here? Certain movies that I love impacting that I was going over. Love Jones,
right?
One of my favorite ones. And we watched Superman and the Red Sun together, right?
Well, I watched the first few minutes.
Oh,
yeah, I need to
finish it.
No, and I gotta figure out which link did you use.
It's the DC comic one.
But it wasn't on there. We looked.
It's on there now.
It's on there.
It's on there.
So it took them a while to put it on.
Yeah, because now that you can't go into movie theaters.
Okay.
And that's another thing. I'm giving you guys a heads up. If you don't pay attention to what's going on, I'm a movie fanatic.
It's ridiculous.
So if you don't go to movies and you want to watch movies, you can stream them now. If you have a Fire Stick or an NVIDIA Shield, you can actually stream those movies out there in theaters. Also, if you are not legal, you can always download the AMC app and you buy or rent your movies. But Netflix and Hulu, I got the notification. If you have an account, you should get it in your emails. If you don't follow them, then it's going to go to your spam. But what they're doing is they're loading up and streaming movies that are actually currently in theaters now on these apparatuses.
Oh, cool.
So you're able to say, no, Invisible Man just loaded up on Netflix last night. I haven't watched it yet, so it's going to be my movie for tomorrow.
Already?
Yep.
Wow.
So, yes. I mean, the coronavirus has its perks, kind of.
Let's be honest, coronavirus or not, this guy's such a movie buff.
Yeah.
Let's say it was dropping tonight or tomorrow. Tomorrow's Sunday. He's there right now at 12 a.m. Literally, and he's not waiting for anyone.
Oh, I am that type of person. I have to see the event screening of it.
Doesn't make a difference.
Bobby the Experience, thank you for tuning in, my dude. All those who are streaming on Instagram for Tokes and for Mancave, I appreciate it. You guys that are tuning in on Facebook.
Appreciate y'all. Thank you.
Certain movies that I definitely know you didn't see.
Honestly.
Raising Beyond.
That's a movie or that's a series? See, that's why. If it was a movie,
no, it's really.
I saw one
series.
episode. It's like a kid with like imagination with like powers.
He has powers, but it's written and produced by Michael B. Jordan, and it makes you. If you ever seen the movie Chronicle, this is what got me. Chronicle, when it was
that was the movie.
The movie, okay, he was a black guy with two white friends,
okay,
and his powers were like evolution, and he flew in the whole 9 yards.
Did they all have the same powers or no?
Kind of, yeah, like but Andrew was the one that took it way too far.
Next level.
Yeah, it kind of like, I don't know. For me, it was like if Chronicles continued, this would be his son, But it's such a great series, and forget about the adult actors are great adult actors, but it's the kids that pull you in.
I mean,
I've been saying this since day one. Before it, when it dropped, I binged on it. I praised it. I had a lot of friends check on it. You guys need to watch Raising Dion. This is a great time to start binging on movies. So,
to me, I don't know why I like the Chronicles because it had more of a gritty kind of feel to it. When I look at Raising Dion, I think like a wholesome kind of like what's the guy like an Ice Cube kind of movie. I'm probably not trying to watch the Ice Cube series. Maybe that's what it is.
Oh,
That's
okay.
what I'm getting from raising DM.
Gotcha. Okay. To my man Will IV. What's up, man? How's everything in Florida? Your question to me is why Kylo Ren have no friends? Because his whole life he's been who? Star Wars question. He's an idiot.
God.
Okay. For those who watch Star Wars, and I've got this, which is I'm making laugh. He goes, why Kylo Ren has no friends? Because he's been solo. You know,
It's cute because
Obi-Wan Kenobi, which is Ben Kenobi and Han Solo. Will, wow. But I appreciate that. Raising Dion, and then looking forward to season 2 of Black Monday is coming.
Guys, watch Black Monday.
Yes.
I mean, it's such a dope show. I mean, if you like the stock market and stuff like that, it's even more interesting. But Don Cheadle, when I say Don Cheadle did his thing in the female co-star, what's her name?
Come on, how can I forget this? Regina Hall.
Regina Hall, she did her thing in that show as well. I mean, it's a really great show. How many episodes is it?
It's season 1 that's done.
I mean, but how many episodes is season 1? 10. I mean, guys, 10 episodes. I think they're like 45.
And season 2 starts next week.
Binge, trust me. When season 2 drops, it's gonna be worth
season 1 just dropped on Hulu, so y'all need to binge on that.
So we didn't see it on Hulu.
No, we watched the regular Showtime.
We
watched it every week.
Man, it was that good. That's why I'm like, y'all thought I could have sworn we just binged it.
No, every week. It was
it was really good.
We were here every week.
Yeah.
It was really, really great. So that's season 2 is definitely really, really great for that. Now going into the last movie I have on our list, I want to Contagion.
Oh.
The movie came out in I'm giving late 90s, early 2000s.
It was like 2010, 2011 when I was watching it.
Okay, so the movie came out like mid 2000s.
Yeah.
But the movie is prevalent for today, so it's on your streaming apparatuses. It's called Contagion with Lawrence Fishburne. It's when I say a list of nothing but A-listers. Yeah, it's a bunch of A-listers. Matt Damon, Gwyneth Paltrow, Keira Knightley. It's a bunch of A-listers that's in this movie. And believe it or not, this movie is prevalent for now. And I find it very weird that the coronavirus drops and they drop the movie Contagion on the streaming devices.
If you look back in history, because I work with people that actually do their research in these type of things, especially this type of pandemic or epidemic, however you want to call it. Every 100 years around, 1920 or 1820 or 1720, there's some kind of, I guess you can say some kind of virus or some kind of plague or some kind of mass destruction that man creates to kind of decrease the population. I don't know if you guys think it's some kind of conspiracy theory, but do your research. So since it's 2020, this was kind of predicted. If you look and do your research, this is something that they do all the time. So Contagion, a movie like that, if those people who created the movie must have definitely did their research and realized that this is something that could have possibly happened or has happened in the past, and it's nice to make a movie about it. But they're about 10 years ahead of their time. But it's still a good movie for you guys to get your eyes on. I think the situation with the coronavirus is only going to get worse from what I'm hearing.
In terms of like the virus or just
the spread? The spread is only going to get worse. It's kind of hard to determine where and when you're going to get it, but you can just imagine being in New York City, a congested area like this. There's only so many places you can go where you're not going to get in contact with people.
Right.
So because of that, and even if you don't get in contact with people, the surfaces that other people might have touched, you yourself might have got in contact with. So the best solution is to keep your hands away from your face. But nonetheless, everyone eats, everyone does this and that. No matter how much times you wash your hands, it's possible. But I was told that the peak of its spread should be within 42 days. So it's only going to get worse. And then up until 42 days, it'll be at its peak. And then I guess from there, we'll see how the medical doctors and what kind of cure they come up with within those days. But
okay, but have you been following the news? And I'm not regular news. I'm like CNN and the CDC.
I try not to follow too much of all these things because a lot of news is coming out and some of it is fake news. So you don't know what you're really getting.
It's very conflicting.
Yeah, and look at it this way. There's social media, there's real news, there's fake news. Regardless of what it is, you have to look at it as a common cold. And how do you treat a common cold? You make sure you wash your hands and you make sure you clean all surfaces that people will commonly use.
Right.
At the end of the day, you're in contact with people regardless, especially if you're going to work or if you live with people that go to work. You're always going to have an opportunity to get in contact with them. even on their clothing. I heard it lasts on surfaces for about 12 hours, 24 hours.
Mm.
So give or take. So it doesn't really matter as long as you can just make sure that you're healthy. But for the most part, I heard it only attacks those with respiratory issues and those with over age.
Old age and with low immune
Right.
deficiency. Of course, they're saying more like HIV or something like that,
Yeah.
or diabetes,
Mm-hmm.
tuberculosis and stuff like that. Here's my conflicting, and I'm a science major, so I have to hit everything. I went from Neil deGrasse Tyson to listening to the doctor, what is his last name, W, whatever, from Washington, D.C.
Mm-hmm.
And even on Red Table Talk, they had one doctor, which I found to be the most ignorant show for this particular episode for Red Table Talk. They had this white doctor on there, and yes, he was white. Can we get some black doctors to start reporting in, please, or Asian
They got rid of
doctors?
Dr. Sabi.
Listen,
so
I
I
talk
know.
to if he was alive.
Yeah, I know.
But I do listen to Sanjay Gupta. I like Sanjay Gupta.
Okay, you gotta put me on.
No,
that.
dude,
That's
he's
a
with the
complicated
doctors.
name. Say it one more time.
Sanjay Gupta.
Say it 5 times fast.
Okay. No, he's part of the doctors. He's the Indian doctor that CNN goes to.
Okay.
He's the man.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so the white doctor on Red Table Talk was talking about it's airborne. Okay, then if it's airborne, then everybody should be in a plastic bubble and nobody should be communicating. That means Washington should be shut down. The president, shouldn't be doing anything. So it's like, okay, that's out the thing because it had Jada Pinkett Smith on her table looking all frantic. But anyway, I'm constantly on the website of CDC, and it has not changed. Only thing that has changed is in terms of, as you say, the whole. I don't get the 6 feet walking apart kind of thing because if you go to a store and you're online, there's no fucking way you're going to be standing 6 feet apart in a store.
I mean, let me be honest with you. There's 2 locations that I've been at where they've actually required that we have distancing. One is when I went to the DMV. They actually had us waiting in line for hours just for us to enter the DMV. And when you get inside the DMV, everyone's sitting at least 6 feet from each other. And it's not like someone's guiding us to do so. Everyone is
Just consciously doing it. Okay.
So when you go in there, it's like quick. You spend more time waiting in line than you do actually in the DMV. It's that quick, but you're gonna be waiting. Nonetheless, another place that I went to was when I went and got a shaper.
Okay.
Where my barber, they literally had, I think it's about, 3 people in the chair, 4 people in the chair, and like 3 people sitting down. But it's not a pretty big barbershop. It's very small. Nonetheless, he asked that 2 or 3 of us step outside just to limit the space that's going on in there, just so that they don't get shut down. So I'm assuming people are enforcing martial law, where you have to limit the amount of people that's within your establishment. So it could be that serious, but I just look at it like a common cold. Yeah, it can be airborne if someone coughs on you and they're within your vicinity, because germs do fly like with 30 to 40 miles per hour from a cough. Yeah. Nonetheless, if you're in that close proximity, someone cough, then maybe you can get a common cold kind of situation, but it might not just be the COVID. But I just think about it this way: stay home if you can stay home. If you can't, just make sure you keep your distance. There's nothing you can really do.
Shout out to my man DL Demps in Washington, D.C., designers extraordinaire, Dominique Boneslaw, for tuning in on Facebook Live. Thank you guys. I'm not sure what time you tune in or whatever, but definitely hit in where we cover the movies and everything. We're talking about the coronavirus. My question to those who are viewing, whether it's on Chokes or my Instagram at the MCS Mancave Show or on Facebook, how are you dealing with the coronavirus pandemic at this moment? Please share, join the conversation. Reason why I'm doing the show, and I was letting my crew know that they could be off because one, they're coming from a distance area, and even I think they're roommates or whatever. I want to make sure that everyone was comfortable.
Right.
And yes, we did a show last week in the whole 9 yards, and you and I were roommates 3 years ago. So you know me, I'm constantly cleaning.
Yeah.
Hypochondriac, actually. I really am. And I admit I've been a hypochondriac since I was a pre-med student. Till this very day, when people come in and go out my door, no one's caught me doing it, but I do it, is I actually get disinfectant and spray my doorknobs. I do. It's Bowman caught me. He was like, I said, it's just precaution. The guys ran out of the hand sanitizer. Yeah. So I actually, and now Dorel, I know you've been asking me about this for my aloe plant. So I found out, looked at the ingredients of what is in hand sanitizer. So I made my own hand sanitizer. I don't have a gelatin. So what I did was I got isopropyl alcohol and I have an aloe plant. And I took 6 leaves of aloe and put it in an isopropyl spray.
Mhm.
And that's what I do. It's right on my counter over this. When you walk in, you spritz your hands, booyah.
And when he says alcohol, he means rubbing alcohol.
Rubbing alcohol.
But if rubbing alcohol is out and you just happen to have a stock full of vodka, that works as well.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
We will not waste the vodka. You cannot come to my house if there's no rubbing alcohol. Or bring your own. Camille, thanks for tuning in, my dude. Really appreciate it.
So,
Sydney, I see you tuning in, you fat fuck.
that's terrible.
You know, no, I'm doing it because you called me. You know you call me on purpose, you know. I appreciate you tuning in. Amir Mohammed, thanks for tuning in, man. Stafford, my dude. I think you're tuning in from Italy, if I'm correct, right? Appreciate that.
That's what's up.
So listen, guys, since you're watching, tune in. For guys on Instagram, send in your questions, and we'll know more Star Wars questions, please. Let's talk about how the coronavirus is affecting your world at this moment. I was asked Tyrese to use the interns or whatever.
Right.
He was like, I would come through with it. I said, no, listen. For me, this is, if you're in a state of paranoia, stay home.
Right.
You knowing me, and then on top of that, reason why Tokes is here is because he's a father of a newborn. So you automatically know, I know you're a clean person.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we got along so well. But you having a child at home, it puts you even more overprotective of making sure cleaning. You got the humidifier, and as you call your house, the smart house.
I mean, who wants to be in a house that's stupid? Oh, only this guy.
Listen, he's got too many things going on in here. But no, but that's why I'm like, you know, you come through, I definitely know you know who I am, so it's gonna be a safe environment. But still, only time I've gone out is going to Family Dollar, which is right up the block. They're paranoid, so people are already wrapped up and they got bars and everything. Yeah.
Everywhere, honestly.
Yeah. So I'm one thing for me, this is no big deal in my regular life because I don't go out unless I have to go out. So I'm good. This is like regular for me.
I mean,
I am missing a bar.
I don't
am
think
missing industry parties.
I'm not within that age bracket for it to be an effect for me.
Yeah.
I don't have any lung issues or breathing issues.
Right.
I don't have any of those issues. And so for me personally, it's not, let me not say it's not a big deal because for a lot of people, they might have lost loved ones.
Right.
But I just feel like the panic that everyone's displaying is to the extreme.
I feel that, and I said it to a couple of people in my circle that, you know, come on. I mean, like, I can see if this was like the zombie apocalypse.
Right.
I know who will be in my circle. I know who's not going to be in my circle. But I think this situation is a teaching lesson on so many levels in terms of how we communicate, how we deal with one another.
Right.
You know, and it's bad enough with social media and the way things have gone now that we're back, and you know, I've always said about this, I like to meet people organically.
Right.
You know, so now this is killing my little social life that I have because there's no industry parties, there's no open bar events. My watering hole is closed. So, and it's still has some liquor, isn't it?
Nah,
There's a little bit.
Like
Listen, for those who are watching, please come by. All you have to do is drop a bottle of liquor to me. See, like I'm downstairs. I'll come get it with gloves. Just whiskey, number 1. Number 2, vodka. Number 3, white rum. Ray and Nephews, number 1. Malibu coconut rum, number 2. I'm not really a tequila man, but I will accept tequila. And I have been drinking Hennessy lately, so bring it on.
and for me, I'm interested in.
I got this. Grand Marnier or Drambuie.
This guy's only talking about alcohol. Listen.
Oh, my bad. Oh.
We're in New York. It could be possibly be a drought. So if anyone has
Water.
any great plant-based herbal essence, if you know what I mean. If they're great and up to par, I'm looking at 20% and 30% THC. Please let your boy know. Leave a description down below. Thank you.
Now, speaking of that, since you transitioned into that, Jokes, as I said before, has a show coming up, produced by Virgo City Productions, called Toke, Toke with Toke. So please follow that on Instagram.
Yes, please do.
I'm following it. You'll see the tags of it in there. So if you see
It's on YouTube as well.
And it's on YouTube. You'll see it on my channel. He also has a channel. You have a channel, right?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, he has a channel. Here we go.
This guy. But nonetheless, yes, guys, tune in.
Yeah.
It's a great show. We're just getting started. We haven't done any episodes as of yet, but stay tuned because I'm going to look into a lot of different stuff that goes on the East Coast. Because if you look at people on YouTube who are YouTubers or VTubers,
Yeah.
most of them are on the West Coast. And one of them is Mr. THC. He's located on the West Coast. Young guy, 22 years old, real cool dude. And there's another guy. I think his name is something. He's an Asian guy, but he has a lot of subscribers. Nonetheless, I'm not sure if he's located in the West Coast, but a lot of these guys just go around and they just introduce people to a lot of different strains and they give out different things. But my channel is going to be a little different. I plan on medicating people, elevating people, and educating people all at the same time. So the whole theme on the show is to medicate, elevate, and educate. So I want to try different strains, be it whether they're, sativas, indicas, or hybrids. I want to get the idea of what it's like to get from your local plug or dealer and have something that's coming from a dispensary. So let's say, for an example, you're going to try sour diesel, right? And you get it from your local plug. And then you go to a dispensary and you get their sour diesel and then compare the two. And then see if it tastes different, if it looks different, and then see if the high is even different.
Right.
Those type of experiences. Because for most people in New York, we don't have dispensaries in our access. So if we're going to actually get the herb, we're going to have to get it from a local plug. But people like in the West Coast and in those areas, they have dispensaries all over the place. Yeah, they have plugs too, but they have the option to just walk into a bud bar and then try different things. I want to try different apparatuses as well. I'm going to get DC to try different things. He has something called Victor. Stay tuned for that.
Speaking of Victor, for those who experienced Victor, I'm not one to pour out a drink, but Victor died.
Oh my God.
Yeah, but I am looking for the Darth Vader is my next one.
Darth Vader.
I want the Darth Vader. I need a black mask.
So we got the research on that.
No, I found it.
You found it?
Oh, yeah. I'm waiting till I get the money for it and then it's coming.
Okay.
It will be ready for Toke with Toast.
Okay.
Just know that.
Gotcha.
And for the Green Parties.
Cool.
For that. But one thing, I support your show in terms in lieu of, like I said before, we don't smoke on this show. Well, we didn't smoke on this show because we were expanding. We had a different team. But one thing I want to say is, I'll admit, I'm a grown-ass man. Fuck it. I am legally able to smoke. So clarify that real quick.
Facts.
To my doctor. And we, over the years, you've seen me become, I'm not ready to smoke, I'm not smoking, we're not smoking in the house kind of thing, to fuck it, just light up. I know I'm that interesting smoker where I don't really care for Fonto, but due to the fact that I don't roll, I have no say. Grava is a thing I'm not doing. And explain Grava, please.
It's not Grava. That sounds like a food.
Was it Grava?
It's Grava.
Grava. Explain what that is.
So Grava is basically frontal. Frontal is like a leaf, a brown leaf that's, I guess you say, aged from a banana leaf. And nonetheless, usually when it's burnt and dried out, people break it up and crumble it up and leave a little like a flaky, dusty kind of feel. And they call that graba when they put that with the herb and they wrap that with maybe some bamboo or some raw paper. Okay.
Well, I don't really care for it. Because I taste more of the tobacco than I do the weed.
Yeah, because it's harsh.
It's very harsh.
It's harsh.
There are two people that...
That's a Jamaican thing, to be honest.
Yeah. I'm not going to mention his name, but yeah. I have a Jamaican friend that comes over and he just sprinkles it like it's oregano and it's a done deal.
Some people like that hit.
My favorite rollers, I always say, dude, this is... My favorite word is whenever he rolls and we're smoking socially, it was like, oh, this is smooth. There was one thing we did over the holidays, and he goes, "This is Christmas." It's called he calls it Christmas.
Yeah.
And he blended 3 different blends, which is really great. Indica, sativa. They were both indica and sativa, but then you had something sweet that was into it.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name of what it was, but I know it wasn't the sour tangy.
No.
It was someone's birthday cake or someone's cake.
Yes.
It was a cake.
Oh my God, something cake.
There was a cake that was in it, and it gave a sweet overture to it. And it was, when I say this was really great.
Yes.
We were like, And I remember the first time, I'm not doing the pen now or the vape and everything, because I got fucked up on it, to be honest with you. That whole the whole thing of the fad of the vaping pen and everything. You still vape?
Well, I have a new vape. I
Okay.
actually have a dry herb vape.
Okay.
So it's
Is that better than the other one?
Yeah, because the other vape that you're talking about is
Yeah.
when you're using actual
I ended up
pen.
in the hospital with that shit.
Yeah, because some people probably take it a little bit too much or just not used to
Okay,
it.
yeah, I wasn't used to it, and I was using it was the indica you gave me,
Yeah.
and I was doing 5 pulls a night, and my sleep was life. No, seriously, I bragged about it. I'm like, yo, Tokes, whatever this is, I need another oil because I take 5 pulls, and I had a window of 20 minutes to prepare myself to shut down, wipe, clog the dishes, put everything away, get in my bed, play a couple of video games, and when my eyes blinked about 4 times, I knew it was a wrap. And I slept so well and woke up so refreshed. And I was just like, I need to have this. But due to the fact that I had it for maybe like 2 months,
Yeah.
it ended up putting fluid in my lungs very quickly. And I had a cough I couldn't get rid of. So as soon as I'm hypochondriac, got 3 days of coughing, I went to the doctor. And of course they're gonna ask, do you smoke? And I'm like, are you serious? I was like, no, I vape. And they were like, that's what you mean. So I put my shit out there. And they were like, that's what you mean. So I put fluid in my lungs, and all of a sudden everything was going on the news regarding after that. So if you have something that's going to be better than the vape, and it's a drier situation.
It's just dry herb.
Then I would drop that. So it's not gonna put fluid in. It's not.
No.
Okay.
Basically, it just takes the actual herb, you grind it up, and you put it in this kind of container where it actually heats up inside, and then you can actually inhale from the mouthpiece, and it's basically heating up the herb inside.
Gotcha.
So by the time you're done, instead of having ash, you just have herb that's basically extracted all the THC out of it. And it usually just turns out pretty brown.
Gotcha.
Pretty dry.
I do want to say this. I'm gonna take a quick turn and go back real quick. Make a U-turn back to the coronavirus. I made a comment to a couple of people that called me up and everything, and I am anti-fad. Okay, FAD. I don't want anybody blaming me like, what did you say? I'm anti-fad.
He's not-
FAD.
He's not windy, all right, guys.
And so here's my thing. When there's a tragedy, always doing pray for. I have not seen one fucking tag from anybody saying pray for recovery of coronavirus, pray for what we're going through, can we get survived? You motherfuckers who are fanatics about doing that shit, this is the time to actually pray for let's get through corona. So get your pray tags out and start posting that shit up. Because don't pray for some shit after people have died and there's a whole big tragedy of millions and billions of people passed away from it. Do it now. But if you Christians want to be praying, this is the time to be on your knees and pray to whatever deity you believe in. That's my thing.
You know what it is? I think because, like I said earlier, this idea of it being a propaganda and us not knowing how many people are actually dying and if it's really a plague that's killing a lot of people.
Yeah.
Some people are taking it lightly and don't think I'm taking it lightly, but most people are until loved ones that they know have died.
Close.
But then at the same time, no one wants to say their loved one has passed away because then it might put a target on you and say that you might have it.
Right.
So we want to keep our distance.
So here's my thing. Demographically, I'm gonna be real with you. I'm that ignorant motherfucker to be like, if it's not looking in, all right, I'll be real. I've had this conversation with one person and they were like, that's kind of fucked up, but not really. So here we go. Has coronavirus affected anybody in the hood?
To be honest with you, I don't think it's affecting African Americans, to be honest with you.
They already got the basketball players. That's been posted up. Now, but it's hitting the elite, people in Italy, and those who traveled. I'm just saying. The elite, and I still think it's propaganda, not to cut you off, I think it's still propaganda for them to hit the elite and the black elite to be like, oh, if Ildris got it and Kevin Durant has it and the high profile people have it, then we need to be careful. Not one person that I know in the hood has committed that or is admitted and on top of that, they're not testing us.
How do you get the test so fast, first of all? How do you get the test so fast? That's one.
First of all, where's the testing areas?
Two, to me, I think it's like a publicity stunt.
Because anybody died or got tested in New York City and no, I heard New York reports.
Listen, I heard the youngest person that has died from it so far is 53, and that was a couple of days ago. It might be changed now.
Well, because their age and age bracket, and two people in that age bracket. Yeah.
Babies can be carriers.
No, that's what he
Children
said.
can
Yeah,
be carriers.
yeah.
So these athletes that they say that have it, they could just be infected. They could just be carriers. For example, the common cold. You can't technically get rid of the common cold.
This brings back to my medical days. I said this the other day. Hello, people. Let's think about it. Back in early 90s, when the AIDS epidemic was huge in the 80s, and they were doing a lot of testings, in the majority of the 90s, people got fucked over because of the government doing this huge wide HIV/AIDS testing, and there was a lot of what? False positives.
Yep.
And what I'm thinking is this is huge allergy season. So if you got people in California, warm allergy, you got people in Arizona and Utah, warm allergy, you got allergies. So you have mucus in your system. I don't know what the test consists of because they have not revealed it on CDC.
Right.
I was asking and looking for it. But apparently, I'm assuming that whatever they're looking for, that is equivalent to an allergy. Because if you see this, the equivalent to what a flu and the allergies and the coronavirus is consistent of. Only thing is different is the fluid in the lungs, the respiratory.
Okay.
Everything else is the same except the respiratory. Now, I heard, and I did my research, I was into it today, that the fluid has to solidify in your lungs after 4 days. So them saying you have the coronavirus, this brings me back to watching, I hate to say this, an episode in Walking Dead, season 2, when they went to the CDC in Atlanta, Georgia, when they all got tested, and they were like, guess what? Everybody has the Walking Dead virus. No, seriously. So basically, if you die, you will be reanimated. So what I'm saying is this: we don't know what the CDC or the coronavirus testing is, because I'm a motherfucker that likes to read and research. We don't know what the testing is, but for them to put out this testing, and there's no testing in New York City, we don't know about the testing. But yet, someone in the White House, not the vice president, but someone in the vice president's party, has been tested. So certain people in certain demographics are being tested. Not the real people. So the pandemic is affecting the real masses, not the people that need to be tested. So how are you guys getting tested, and who's formulating these tests?
If it is real, you can see why I brought up the notion that, every decade, every 100 years, every century, every 2020 or every 30-20 or in any way, shape, or form, nonetheless, there's going to be some kind of pandemic. And if you see the most populated place on the planet so far is China, right? And that's where it hit first. So you think if they're trying to eliminate the population, China would be a good place to start because Chinese people are overpopulated, correct? Or at least in China, it's overpopulated.
Yeah, so they say.
So they say.
I've never been to China. Exactly. Yeah.
You're right. But I mean, the images that you get on, social media or on YouTube, it just shows how people are living in. Like they know how to make do with very little space.
Right. And it's just so. I don't know. It's a. How can I put it? It's weird. You don't know what to believe, but then of course, we already know that the news have taken things out of context a lot. I always say, Hollywood has given us the input on what's really going on, but no one wants to pay attention. They want to accept it as entertainment and nonfiction. But we're living, like I said before, and this is the weirdest shit. Majority of those movies came out in the 80s and the 90s. I'm like, oh God, we're living in a Harvey Weinstein movie. No, seriously, it feels like, one movie's from Hollywood. So we're on a martial law, which I never thought in my lifetime I would have experienced.
I mean, they were having people getting recruited. What do you call that again?
Oh yeah, the draft. Which is, again, back in time, 1970s shit.
And I'm trying to figure out, what is the draft for exactly? Who are we fighting?
Thank you. What war are we in?
Okay, I thought our draft was for emergency.
For emergency, we have a war. And who are we fighting now? I
don't know.
So with the situation going on and we're not in war, do the people that got drafted are able to get sent home?
Good question. If people are at war right now, if people are shooting at each other and we know this coronavirus is out, are people even worried about shooting each other anymore? They're like, you know what? I just want to go home because I probably got something.
Yeah.
And I'm already dead.
Are they testing the military? And here's my other question. I've always had to ask. I want to ask my friend that works for that's the CEO. I haven't heard any reports about prisoners.
It's funny that you said that. One of my coworkers was showing me a video. It's like almost 35-minute video of a prison or jail in Trinidad, and the prisoners are going crazy because they believe that the prison or COs might have the coronavirus and they're spreading it within them. the inmates. I don't want to laugh, but it's just the video.
How is
Just,
it spreading to the inmates?
I don't know. That's just their assumptions, and I don't know how inmates have videos or phones, but nonetheless, they have phones and they're recording themselves, make their complaints in writing in jail, basically asking to leave and go home to their family because they don't want to be
What
stuck
kind
in
of
here.
request is that?
Because they feel like if there is the coronavirus, they're being forced to contract it, which
Right.
I can understand. If 1-2 inmates have it,
Mhm.
then we all are doomed to possibly have it.
Right. Wow.
And I don't want to be stuck with it. And I can understand the situation, but
I
that's a
understand.
tough situation. I don't know about the jails here.
Mhm.
Did I hear something about the inmates with like non-severe offenses were allowed to leave on their own, and those would, I mean,
Oh,
real.
yeah.
I mean, I heard. This is just speculation. I've heard
Yeah.
these things.
I gotta check that out. That's for sure. But I gotta say, looking forward to. First of all, thanks for coming through. Thank you guys for tuning in on Instagram, YouTube Live, and Facebook. I'm not sure why
Likewise.
Facebook went dark and dim. Something's going on over there with Facebook. Thanks to my guest, Tokes Ade,
Thanks for
coming
having me,
through.
DC.
And don't forget to please follow his social media, Instagram at Toke, Toke with Tokes, TOKS. Same thing on YouTube. And you can actually see some clips. So the opening is on my channel on MCS Mancave Show. And so we will, and I want to say shout out to Sherman Brathwaite if you got a chance to tune in or get a chance to look at this.
Big Sherm.
Everybody that's tuned in, we appreciate it. We'll be back again next weekend. If you have any questions or you followed up, binge on the show, leave comments, like it. Let's build up the following, the subscriptions. I need a YouTube play button on my wall someplace, so let's work on this. And if you need a t-shirt, email me, DM me with your information, and the more requests I get, then I'll be able to go into mass production, start getting t-shirts out. I'm your host, Damien Christopher. Thank you guys for tuning in to MCS The Mancave Show. My special guest, Tokes Ade, from Tokes with Tokes, and peace. Catch you guys later. You guys have a great weekend and stay safe.
Yo.
Go. And we go to where is this bloody thing? Yes, I know we're still live. So. I know, I gotta go up with it.
It's the Mancave Show. Mancave Show.
Oh, there it is. And gotta put it up.
This guy in his freaking Thor cups.
Hey, me.
Excuse
No
me. Need for the mugs, not cups. Excuse me. This is the Mancave Show.
Oh shit! Didn't connect. It was connected. Okay, now my cousin wants to tune in, Angela. She's so fired.